What's up, it's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Wesley Chapel Toyota, and I have that one top performance trim for their midsize sedan. This is a 2021 Toyota Camry TRD. But before we get into this four-door sports sedan, let's talk about what's going on here. The midsize segment of the auto industry is still on fire. Even though some big-name players have left the party, there's brands like Toyota that still think that it's smart to produce these sedans because people want to buy them. Now, Toyota, being that iconic Japanese brand, they want to up the ante and bring some performance and extra style to the Camry in this Camry TRD. Now, there's many choices you could go if you're looking at a mid-size sports sedan in this price segment. You could go Honda Accord Sport with the 2-liter turbo. That's the detuned Type R engine. You could even pay a little bit more and go Accord Touring. That's going to get you not only the detuned Type R motor, but it's also going to get you adaptive dampers. You could always go with like a Mazda 6 turbo, get the Carbon Edition like we featured here on Rady's Rides, or the new Hyundai Sonata N-Line, or the Kia K5 GT. I'm even going to throw in there just for fun the Subaru WRX. Even though that's not a midsize, price point falls in alignment with all those other vehicles. So what I want to find out, has Toyota done enough to really make this truly a sport performance sedan? And is this the one to get over all of those competitors? Let's dive into this Camry TRD and find out. Right off the bat, you got this black metallic color to it. It's got a blue tinge to the metal flake. It reminds me of a bowling ball or a bass fishing boat. So if you like that style, you're definitely gonna like this Camry TRD. Starting at the front of the business, you are getting LED lighting, and that seems to be the flavor of all the different brands, that at this price point in the mid-size sedan segment, you're gonna get LED headlights. You can see your daytime running lamps. I do like the size of the headlight housing. Nothing too big, nice long angular cut into the front fascia area. And that's one thing, that with the Camry TRD, you're getting totally different front fascia than your standard Camry, which is great. The bad news is we're gonna have to just drop a big zonk. Right in this corner, they could have done anything else, but what they did was they made this fake vent. This could have been housing for fog lamps. This could have been a functional side air curtain, or God forbid, bring extra air to the radiator or the brakes. But what I do love is look at the split level of the front lip spoiler. I think that it really fits the aggressive lines that they're going for. Plus, this is a fully functional piece. It's not just stuck on with double-sided tape or bubble gum. They actually tested this in a wind tunnel to give you a little bit more downforce, because performance is gonna come in a different flavor that maybe you're not used to. Now, as we come across the front grille area, with this generation of the Camry, they definitely stopped it from looking like a refrigerator. If you look at the previous generation, it was looking pretty bland. This Camry though, very, very aggressive. You have this functional grille area up top, with it being this metallic black. The gloss black all blends in very nicely, and then a large, massive opening on the lower grille. You could see that front lip splitter extending out with that nice sparkle to it. And then of course, with the way the hood is, it really waterfalls nicely into that front fascia. Now, when we get up onto the hood, you'll notice you got some interesting body lines. We have some rises on each side that go into the A-pillar, and then they'll take the body lines off of the front fascia, run it into the hood, and then let it curve off and just disappear. So very, very aggressive. And when you compare this to the competition, I think definitely hands down, much more aggressive than the Accord, much more aggressive than the Mazda 6. I still think that the Sonata N-Line and definitely the Kia K5 GT is bringing some extra aggression. But let's see what else we have. As we come around the bend, you'll notice that body work, like I said, it's got the red trim because it's a TRD, and they bring it all the way around the side to channel that air. When you go Camry TRD, you're getting unique wheels. So this is a 19-inch wheel. It's actually lighter than your standard Camry wheel. You can see the TRD badge. Love the flat black, that sort of Y-spoke design going on there, looking really good. And I really, really love that you're gonna get extra braking. So it's not just about performance underneath the hood. There's other ways to get performance, and that's how Toyota did this Camry TRD. They're giving you bigger brakes, an inch larger. So you're looking at 13-inch rotors. You're gonna have increased brake pads, calipers, and you're getting your lowering springs. This Camry actually sits almost an inch lower than your standard Camry. Those are TRD springs. They're gonna beef up the anti-roll bars and the anti-sway bars, and you're gonna get some extra bracing to really give you that direct connected driving experience. This is very unique. This is something that you don't necessarily get from the competition. Now, as we go down the side, you'll notice color matched on the mirror caps, a little bit of chrome. I don't know why they didn't just black that out, so I am gonna zonk it, but I do like the way they have those LED turn signals in there. No sunroof to speak of. So if you're hoping for a sunroof, you're not getting it with the Camry TRD, but what you are getting is a very, very aggressive side sill extension. Normally that would just be gloss black, but the reason why it looks color matched is because we have a black Camry TRD. The red trim coming towards the rear. Love the nice line, color matched on that shark fin antenna. They even pick up the side molding onto the actual fender here, channeling all that air. So you're not only getting the front, you're getting the side sills, and you're getting that rear area as well to channel the air. I am gonna zonk the fake vents at the back. I don't know why they even have that there. But coming to the rear, what you are gonna get that's functional is this functional rear spoiler. Actually, very, very unique design, something that's gonna definitely separate it from the competition, especially the way it's not a pedestal style. It has this dip in the center and then it raises up. It's got your end plates looking really sharp, blacked out on the badging, Toyota and Camry. Clean on the taillights, nothing too aggressive or too sexy, nothing really to talk about, but of course you're gonna get your TRD badge and probably one of the most aggressive rear diffusers you've ever seen. This looks like it came right off of their Le Mans winning race car. And you're gonna have a TRD catback exhaust. So the great news is you're gonna actually get a little bit better sound. And when we say catback, we're not talking about meow, there's an exhaust attached to your cat. We're talking about catalytic converter towards the rear of the car. And I like that trumpet style exhaust, nice stainless steel. Looking really, really aggressive. But why don't we pop the hood and see what's gonna be making sound out of that exhaust.
Yes, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. I am gonna zonk that. And it's interesting because some of the competitors have prop rods and others do not. So one of those things just to point out, underneath the hood, I'm also a little disappointed by that engine cover. They could have done something a little bit more since this is a Camry TRD, but what you are getting is the only naturally aspirated option that is available with the competition. So what you're looking at is a 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6, no turbocharger, no supercharger. That's what we mean by that. You're getting 8-speed automatic transmission that's bolted to it. And like I said, that 301 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque is really gonna be a nice linear balance of power delivery. The vehicle weighs 3,572 pounds, 0 to 60 about 5.7 seconds, top speed 135 miles an hour, MPGs 22 in the city and 31 on the highway. So very, very unique setup on how Toyota is going. There was once upon a time that you could get a TRD with a supercharged V6. That would have been a nice extra little touch there. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire this up because it's got a catback exhaust and I want to hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're in the 2021 Camry TRD. We're talking about what's the best mid-size sports sedan for the money in this segment, even throwing in the WRX. And I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, you're a genius. You are an effing genius. I've been thinking about this question, hoping that you were gonna talk about this because there's so many to choose from in this mid-size segment. How much is this Camry TRD? Because you definitely got me interested. Well, if you're asking, I'm telling, MSRP is right at $33,000. Let's see what you get for the money to the door panel. So you're gonna get soft touch material. The door panel in 2021 is coming off a little bland. Now it's nice with the silver trim. There's a bug right on the door right there, but we're gonna keep on going. The bug's not included, by the way. Tasteful silver trim, some gunmetal gray around the switch gear for the windows and the door locks. The door pocket though, maybe 3 Pop-Tarts or toaster strudels and a small, like, juice box. Really, really small, or a small container of milk. That's about it. Going from the door panel to the dash. I do like the style here. This really is something that separates it from the rest. This like gunmetal gray finish going on. There is a bit of this sparkly gloss black, but it has so much metal flake in it, it actually hides your fingerprints. Soft touch material, love the red stitching, and it's super soft. Now, for 2021, there is a new infotainment system area. This is new for 2021, even in the Camry TRD. The bad news is when you go TRD, you're getting the smaller system. This is a 7-inch screen. You can't get it on the Camry TRD, but if you go other trim levels, you could get a new 9-inch system. I do like this system a lot better than what they had before. It is on the small side. I know you probably heard that once or twice before, but this screen is definitely on the smaller side. No navigation, but it does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Let me go ahead and show you the backup camera. It does take up all 7 inches. So the great news is if you have 7 inches, you'll be able to use the 7 inches to the full extent. And remember, it is a touchscreen, which is nice. Put it right back in the park, and we're back again. There's that metallic finish. Would have been nice to have a bright red TRD start-stop button. You got your standard AC control, so no dual climate. I hope you're keeping a checklist, because if you look at the Honda Accord, the Mazda 6, the Sonata, and the K5, they all have dual climate control. And at this price point, you might even get navigation thrown in just for the heck of it. But it is easy to use. I'm not the biggest fan of this weird wiggly line split section in the Camry. I've never liked it, even when they released this generation. But what I do like is you do have USB, you have a 12 volt, and I like the way there's doors there. No wireless charging, so you could use this. You could put 5 Twinkies there. Your phone will go dead, but you will be able to eat some Twinkies. Open that up, and then you're gonna have a nice little cubby area. It's not felt line, so I wouldn't put the Hope Diamond in there, because it's probably gonna get some scratches and you'll lose value. But that closes up nicely. 2 cup holders. This is gonna control that 8-speed automatic transmission, red TRD stitching. It even says TRD on it in case you forgot that you bought a Camry TRD. I'll put it back in the park so we don't drive away with Lori hanging out of the passenger side. Key fob, it's boring. That's all I could say. It's a zonk. It reminds me of the key fobs from the early alarms, like in the 1990s, the ones that would make like 32 different sounds. And it doesn't say TRD on it. If you're giving me the extra touches, go all in or don't go at all. I do like the finishes here. I like the way it's gunmetal gray, so there's no fingerprints. You got your 3 different mode buttons. And then you have this sort of like Rubbermaid style armrest. It is semi-soft, which is good, and then bam. Now you got a little bit of felt lining. You got 2 USBs. One's a USB, the other one's a USB-C, so that's a nice addition. And the great news is you can put your Snickers in here and not scratch your nuts in your Snickers. What you are gonna get is this nice headrest with the TRD embroidery. Of course, we got red seatbelts, #racecar. And we got the red lines. I'm not really a big fan of the style of the seat. If you've seen the Avalon TRD, those are the seats I wish that were in here. Manual adjustment for the passenger. I do have electric assist, and there's plenty of headroom, just no sunroof. So I don't know how you feel about that, but that could be a deal breaker in your book. But that's your book, and I'm not reading it. Why don't you come over here, though? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Camry TRD. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. Now, there are some nice touches in the footbox. Of course, you're going to get those Camry TRD floor mats, good for an extra 5 horsepower, maybe 7 if you're lucky, with a tailwind. We do have the aluminum brake pedal and throttle, which is nice. Dead pedal, little bland. Would have been nice if they would have spruced that up. Now, when looking at the competition, the Accord does have aluminum pedals you could get. Also, of course, on the WRX. Mazda 6, that's a no-go. And from what I can remember, the Sonata N-Line nor the Kia K5 GT have any kind of aluminum pedals. But seats, they feel good. They're really comfortable. You do have your electric assist for the driver, including the lower lumbar. Steering wheel, it's a mixed bag. I like the leather and the red stitching. Reminds me of a baseball that Pete Rose signed for me once. But the horn button is just atrocious. It's not sexy. It's definitely not TRD. So that's a major zonk. You do have these paddles on the back of the steering wheel to go up and down the 8-speed auto. And then gauges, you're gonna get a lot of analog. So analog tach, analog speedometer, fuel gauge, and cooling gauge. And that's a 4.2-inch digital display in the center. I like the analog gauges, especially the way they're that bright red TRD color. But compared to the competition, you might like what they're bringing, especially with larger digital screens. But why don't we get to the back seat and see how this stacks up with those competitors. All right, guys, backseat time, and this is where really it proves that mid-size sedans are still a thing and are still very usable. Lots of room back here, just like the competition. It's going to be really splitting hairs on who has the most passenger room, especially in the back seat. But I got plenty of headroom, which is awesome. Seats, that nice soft material all the way around. Large pockets. So what you could put in here is maybe, like as Simon says, you could even put like a travel size Monopoly. The only warning I have for you is if you play Monopoly on a family road trip, expect your family members to hate one another. But you know what? Maybe they already hate one another, so maybe it might be a good thing. But you have a good size Twinkie tray here. You could easily put 4 Twinkies. That's 2 per person in the back seat, unless you have the one oddball in the middle. You could give them half a Twinkie. We do have 2 USBs, and it's lit up with blue LED light. That lets you know that, hey, you'll always be able to find your way with your charging. Over here on my side, I got my own pocket over here. We're not putting any board games in here. I don't know what the heck I want to put in there right now. A back scratcher, because I got this itch from this mosquito that bit me in this Camry TRD. Wasn't good. Seats, though, just as comfortable up front. No armrests. So hopefully you got a younger sibling or somebody that's weaker than you that sits in the back seat. Put them in a headlock and use them as an armrest. Let's go ahead, though. Let's get to the trunk and see what kind of room we have in this Camry. All right, guys, getting to the back trunk area of this 4-door sedan. This really showcases that, you know what, you don't need an SUV. You could still go sedan. This is why Toyota still makes the Camry. Look at this nice, massive opening. You got a deep cargo floor in there. And of course, we got some required Camry TRD cargo mats. That's gonna add another 5 extra horsepower. So when you add that with the floor mats on the interior of the car for your passengers and you're really getting a lot of extra performance from your floor mats. But anyways, what you're getting trunk performance is 15 cubic feet of space. The nice thing is of course, that seat's gonna be able to fold down. You'll be able to get some nice longer items in there. And when you look at the competition, Camry does bring it when it comes to trunk space. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go haul the mail on throttle style in this Camry TRD. All right, guys, we left Wesley Chapel Toyota. We're in this 2021 Camry TRD. I have it in sport mode. That's gonna adjust how the throttle sensitivity is and steering inputs go. But while we go ahead, let's do a little bit of on throttle. I'm gonna put in manual shift mode, shift with the paddles, first gear, on throttle, here we go. Nice. On the brakes. Look at this, look how it corners. Nice and flat, getting back on throttle. Really, really smooth power delivery, and that's the advantage you're gonna get with this Camry TRD over the competition. Look at this, brakes feel good. The way the car communicates from the front to the rear is well sorted and stays planted. So you're definitely getting a faster Camry. Even though we don't have the extra horsepower, which I am gonna zonk that, would be nice to have around 400 horsepower. Maybe 350. I'll settle at 350. I'll stop being greedy. I'm sorry, I was being greedy. Maybe we're not getting the 400 horsepower, but 350 horsepower would really go a nice long way with this vehicle and just make it that something extra special. You're not getting the extra power, but you are getting the extra performance from all the different tunings that they did. From the suspension, the brakes, the handling, that's gonna make you faster. And the way that the car communicates with you from the front to the rear allows you to feel more confident. Visibility is great in the vehicle, out the front, out the back. You can see just a little bit of that TRD rear wing. Making a U-turn obviously is gonna be easy peasy in this thing. Seats are comfortable. I just wish there was just a little bit more on the interior. At least give you the 9-inch infotainment system right off the bat. That would be a very, very nice touch on this whole system. But let's go ahead, put it back into manual shift mode. First gear, on throttle, here we go. Really, really nice and smooth. You can feel how much more balanced it is than your standard Camry. Now, comparing it to a WRX, obviously it's gonna eat its lunch. Even the Honda Accord, especially the Touring with the adaptive dampers,
is really gonna be some stiff competition. But one more time, on throttle, here we go. On the brakes. Love this transition right here, shows the balance in that chassis. Super smooth, look at that. And then that power delivery, that low down torque that you get, and it pulls all the way through the rev range. Whereas the turbocharged engines, you are gonna be waiting a little bit. I do like the upgraded infotainment system, especially getting to it, but it would be nice to have the 9-inch system in this Camry TRD. But overall, definitely worth the look, especially at this price point. $33,000 puts it right at the sport 2-liter turbo. I have been mentioning the Honda Accord Touring, but that's a $36,000 vehicle. But we're getting back to Wesley Chapel Toyota, so we're gonna wrap this one up, and I'll see you in a split second.
Guys, it's been another great day here at Wesley Chapel Toyota. I definitely got to thank Scooter and the rest of the crew getting us access to a 2021 Camry TRD. It's tough. It's tough. It's going to be a very, very difficult decision for you to go through the competition and really figure out what you want in particular. What Camry's bringing to the table and what Toyota has with this TRD Camry is going to be that reliability and, like I said, that naturally aspirated V6. Definitely want to add it to your list, even if you are looking at a WRX. But if you want to keep seeing these sports style sedans, mid-size sedans on Rady's Rise, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click the first link, get yourself some Rady's Rise merch. Click that second link, become a Rady's Rise Patreon member. Got to give it up to the queen of the camera, holding it down like a champ, getting every angle of this Camry TRD. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. Show us some love in the comment section. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.